The Hell House series by far are some of my favorite found footage horror movies, and for a while I was under the impression that my favorite Hell House was the second installment, the Abaddon Hotel. I remember this one scaring me the most, but seeing as that I haven't watched this movie in about 2 years or so, I think it's about time I refresh my memory and see if this is actually worthy of the title for being my favorite in the franchise. So without further ado, let's get started. We start off by seeing a message disclosing that the footage we're about to see was compiled by Russell Wynn. That name is very important, but unfortunately we won't know why until the next movie, so for now disregard it. We get a very ominous shot of the room we saw from the first film where Diane and her cameraman were killed. Then we get an interview from a woman named Wendy Mallett, the mother of a guy named Jackson who went missing. Where, you may ask? I don't know, how the hell am I supposed to know? What the fuck? It's the name of the movie! Now listen, I don't want to speak ill of the dead. Oh yeah, he's dead by the way. However, his mother says he went to the Abaddon Hotel for a souvenir. And you know, whenever I visit a place, maybe a new country or a new city, those seem like places you want to get a souvenir from. A demonic hotel where multiple people were murdered doesn't even crack my top 100. I'm not gonna say he asked for it, but he definitely inquired about it. Wendy here says she started receiving text messages from Jackson's phone, and when the police traced it back to his origin, it was coming from inside the hotel. These are said text messages. Now this is creepy, however, kinda stupid. The entire goal is to get more people to come to the hotel, so they can collect more souls. I think it would make more sense to maybe send a chain text. Might as well get as many as you can. I'd be pissed off too if a demon airdropped me a location talk about pull up. Also, what are the police doing about this whole Abaddon thing? There have been multiple people that have gone missing in the area where the Abaddon is. We'll see that shortly. But I'm guessing since they can't explain it, they just ignore it? At that point, I like to wonder why they haven't torn this thing down, especially after what happened with the Hell House crew. Wendy then mentions there was a video of Jackson trapped in a hotel they received, showing Jackson's final moments. In the video, we see Jackson looking for a way out, and he says, "I saw them all. They're here. They're all still here." I assume this implies everybody that's died in the hotel so far. Then he starts yelling for help. "Good idea, Jackson. Let's inform the entire hotel of demonic spirits where we are." Man, you gotta love these horror movie game plans. We get a shot of Jackson peeking the camera around the corner, and our hooded friends are back. I mean, this is a dining room, Jackson. You don't know if they're here to take your soul. They probably set a plate at the table for you and everything. See, kids, this is why you don't judge a book by its cover. As Jackson is huddled up in the corner, all hope lost, another hooded figure spawns out of thin air and starts approaching Jackson, and then it cuts. And I'm gonna safely assume that he's now dead. Also, look at how broad this thing's shoulders are. Am I being haunted by a middle linebacker? Demonic NFL draft aside, Wendy here is distraught. Another video was sent showing room 2C again as Jackson is screaming in the background, and the familiar Hell House tune is being played in the distance. Wendy claiming that she recognizes it. We then cut to a program called Morning Mysteries, who's doing coverage on the mysterious disappearances of the Abaddon Hotel. And they inform us that Wendy's knowledge of that song does not come from the Hell House documentary. She claims she heard it from inside her own house. Oh shit, it's getting wicked out here. Yes, while the Mallets were having a game night, they hear a tune being played in the other room, and it's little Jackson. He then says the hotel opens in 2009. Tell everyone. And when did the Hell House incident take place? Dude, you're not clever. We already know it's 2009. I'm just building suspense for the audience. But part of me never understood this scene. Is it implying that Jackson's fate has been sealed this whole time? Was he psychic? Also, this never comes up ever again. Why is Jackson specifically the one to predict the quote-unquote reopening of the hotel in 2009? Was he the chosen one? Where's Obi-Wan when you need him? We cut back to Blondie here. Her name is Susie McCombs, by the way. And she says they also captured some creepy stuff on their camera while recording some B footage. And it's weird how they could capture something like this and still be non-believers. Like, they obviously chalked it down to someone pulling a prank, but it's never a prank. It's never a prank. Thank you. We cut to Susie interviewing 3 individuals, and what is this? Why am I staring at a worse alternate cover of the Weezer album? Yes, it's a blue screen for this effect. I get that. But did you have to make the entire room blue? This like slightly hurts my eyes to look at. It looks like I dragged and dropped everyone onto this scene. Anyway, the 3 guys on screen next to Susie are Arnold Tasselman, an Abaddon town official, Mitchell Cavanaugh, you'll recognize his name from the first film as he compiled all the footage for the Hell House documentary, and Brock Davies, who, while having the name of a side character in SpongeBob, is a psychic medium. Mitchell starts off the interview dissing Arnold, and honestly, I'm here for it. Wait a minute.
You know who this motherfucker look like, low-key? Lord!
Respect to Mitchell because he calls this man a dick on live television. We then cut to a room with 2 women who happen to be watching the interview. The one on the left is Jessica Fox and the one on the right is Molly Reynolds, 2 journalists who are looking to get inside the Abaddon Hotel. Jessica wants to get in contact with Mitchell. Seeing as that he edited all the footage for the Hell House documentary, he must know the hotel from front to back, which is a bit of a stretch, but I see the vision. Jessica is not a believer by any means. She just wants a juicy story to hopefully crack open the mystery of the Abaddon. In class, what have we learned about non-believers? They get ice cream? Your time is limited. I hope you know that. Anyway, Mitchell is peeved, never used that word before in my life, because Arnold issued a lawsuit on him wanting to get his film taken down. Arnold claiming that his movie is fake and that it's causing harm to the reputation of the town of Abaddon, or as he pronounces it, Abaddon. Molly is hesitant about the whole thing, but Jessica is fully set on getting into the hotel. Couldn't go to like a Marriott or Holiday Inn, a Hilton? Oh, you want to go to the hotel that has the gates of hell in the basement. But at least you have an interesting view to post on your Instagram story. Arnold is gaslighting the shit out of everyone in this room. He's not buying any of the Hell House footage. He doesn't believe anyone else has died since the initial Hell House incident. And I'm pretty sure if the cameras weren't on, Mitchell would be putting the hands on him, even Even the psychic medium doesn't buy the whole malfunction excuse they keep pushing to the public. Yeah, 15 people slipped on a banana into hell. And how do you explain the other disappearances that have happened near the hotel? They even show us more footage of another person who went missing. Also, Susie kind of fun, not gonna lie. Some kid went live streaming while going to the hotel, which sounds like a streamer thing to do, and it was the last time he was ever seen. Now, I enjoy making content myself. It's fun for me. In fact, I want to do it for a living. Keyword, living. I don't know if any content is worth your life, but this kid is about to find it out the hard way. We also get told this information through a flash forward? Definitely not a flashback. It takes place after Jessica convinced Mitchell to join them on their investigation. It's a little confusing as far as sequencing goes, but sometimes you gotta use your context clues with some of these movies. Wait, he was live on Facebook. Facebook? Y'all be watching Facebook streamers? No hate, I promise that's a genuine question. As he walks towards the back, the exit door opens by itself. Now what do you think he does in this situation? A, oh hell no, and leaves. B, fuck this shit, and leaves. C, files his taxes. Or D, continues to walk forward to the inside of the hotel. I'll give you some time to pick your answer. Of course he fucking goes inside the hotel. He says, and I quote, "I'm not stopping, but that was pretty weird." Pretty weird? You literally just saw a door open by itself with no one there. It's not like anyone greeted you at the door. How many views did this live stream get? I need to know. Let me find out you out here risking your life for 3 viewers. He gets inside the hotel and there's a hooded figure in the corner. Not hiding at all, just standing out in the open. And somehow this kid does not see him. Remember what I said earlier about people asking for it? This motherfucker is doing a survey right now. He then gets to the stairs and someone is standing there. You can't see their face, just their hands and legs. And yeah, I got no jokes here. This is a creepy ass shot. The kid apologizes saying, "I'm sorry, I'll go now." But he doesn't leave. In fact, we cut back to Susie and she says the live stream went on until the phone died. Once again, this is creepy. However, what does this mean? He was never seen again, so of course we can assume he's dead. But the behavior, the person standing on the stairs, besides a little scary, is a little confusing. Police went to the hotel after the family of Cameron, that was his name, pleaded them to go look for him. They probably looked outside the perimeter of the hotel for a few minutes, saw no one and left. They for sure did not go into this place. Police have shown nothing more than not giving a shit in these movies. Arnold's like, this proves nothing, and Mitchell's not backing down. He's giving really good counterpoints to this Arnold guy. Like, for example, Mitchell is right. And this isn't just for Arnold, this is for anybody in this film's universe that doesn't believe anything's going on. Where is everybody? Diane, Jonathan, Jackson, Cameron, and the countless other people that have gone missing since the Hell House incident. They keep pushing the supernatural narrative, but they obviously do not believe in the paranormal. And I don't see any other possible explanations from anybody. Serial killer, grizzly bear on the loose, random dancing. Random dancing? Arnold is like the gaslighting expert. Give this guy a statue. He gives explanations of what he actually believes happened to the Hell House crew. Alex killed himself, Tony was trampled, Mac probably killed himself, and Sarah was the only smart one who disappeared. No mention of Paul? Justice for Paul. Only problem is, Sarah's dead. We saw her die. Mitchell mentions that everything about this hotel originates from Andrew Tully, who I stupidly forgot to mention in my Hell House video. Tully was the hotel's owner in the 80s. He was rumored to have been the leader of a satanic cult, and after some of the guests started going missing without a trace, business went down the drain. He ended up hanging himself in the dining room. Now remember the name Andrew Tully, it's going to be very important in the future. We cut to Mitchell and the gang all meeting for the first time, Jessica introducing herself to the camera along with Molly, explaining they film everything throughout their investigations. Oh, and let's not forget cameraman David Morris, who unlike Jonathan from the last film, we actually get to see his face. My man's low-key died as an anonymous tip. We never knew what he looked like. We get some shots of pictures of the Hell House crew, and it's so weird, like, they're all dead. The foundation of what started this whole fiasco, and none of them are alive. They're like legacy characters, only you won't see them return in a future film to die in a hospital by the killer, when they easily could have left with everyone else. Damn it, Dewey, why? Jessica says that Tully designed the hotel based off of H.H. Holmes' murder castle, who is a real-life serial killer, who went on a killing spree in the late 1800s. His infamous castle had maze-like corridors, soundproof walls, booby traps, and fun fact, he's known as America's first, or at least one of the first documented serial killers. Fun. All of that to say that the Abaddon is designed to trap you on purpose, especially if it's at night. Jessica's sole mission is to find their way to the basement. Supposedly there's evidence of everything down there. For example, Tully and his cult activities and all the guests that stayed there. Stuff that Tully most definitely does not want the public to see. Well, he's dead, but you know what I mean. Mitchell is of course skeptical about this whole thing, but Jessica informs him there was a flip witness during the investigation on Tully. A flip witness being someone who agrees to cooperate with authorities and prosecutors to maybe get immunity or at least a reduced sentence. That witness being Patrick Carmichael. Carmichael. The name sounds familiar, but I can't put my finger on why. And I'm sure it'll come back to me later. Patrick was a member of Tully's cult, who all killed themselves, by the way. However, Patrick was in jail at the time, so he didn't get an invite to the party. Patrick claimed that there are photos and videos of all the activity that went on in the hotel and the fridges in the basement. The cops only searched the fridges in the kitchen, therefore never finding the evidence. That little side room that Tony and Mac hid in the first film. Mitchell says this sounds like a ridiculous theory, and part of me agrees with him. You mean to tell me when the cops returned to Patrick saying they checked the fridges and found nothing, he didn't reply with, Did you check the basement fridges? That would have been the entire conversation, yet somehow that's not what happened. Well, on the flip side, Jessica counters this with a really good point. The police have done fuck all when it comes to investigating this hotel. They can't explain the disappearances, they never gave any answers to the public, and once they landed on malfunction, they thought that that would be enough to calm everyone's nerves. Mind you, they keep cars sitting outside of this thing 24/7, so they must believe something's going on. However, Jessica moments later says she doesn't believe in ghost stories, and I don't know how you can see any of this and not believe something supernatural is going on. Although she doesn't want to take any chances, so she claims they'll be in and out in an hour. Okay. If you say so. Mitchell's like, this is a terrible idea, complete contrast of what he said the last time, but we need a movie, so stick it to the Abaddon it is. And Jessica is low-key trash for the way she got him to agree, look him into his eyes with sincerity, saying he could get some closure on what happened to Diane, and they have the nerve to play a little sentimental flashback. How could he not say yes? He tells them to cut the camera and the scene ends. We cut back to Susie's fine ass, and part of me likes how they have this interview being a bridge between scenes, but it is a little disorienting. Oh, and we get another video of someone who found their way into the hotel. It's another high school kid who has accepted a challenge from one of his friends. And I bet you they called him all sorts of wusses and chickens because he probably didn't want to do this. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm gonna have to be a bitch that day. Clown me all you want, but in no way am I breaking into the Abaddon, especially for a bet. You can bet me and your ass are no longer friends, because why would you wish such a thing upon me? He gets to the front door and it's wide open. Let me guess, he goes inside? He goes inside, yes. At some point you just gotta stop feeling bad for people. He makes it to the kitchen doors, and as he's panning the camera, another one of those ghouls is staring right at him. In the dark, that's 100% terrifying. However, you turn the exposure up and you'll see a dude with amazing posture with a spirit Halloween mask on. Listen, if a demon can have good posture, I don't know what my excuse is. I'm fully alive, yet I'm built like this when I sit down. We get yet another video of a couple of influencers heading back from a fashion show. They see a girl standing off to the side of the road and they offer her a ride. Also, her thumb wasn't out. Isn't that a rule? I don't know if you're allowed to pull over at that point. She gets inside the car and hold up, she a little cute, low-key. You are overly thirsty. I hope you know that. Hating will get you nowhere. They ask her where she's heading to and she says the Abaddon Hotel. Maybe there's another non-haunted hotel with the same name and we don't know for sure she's talking about. Why do I even try? Let's rewind a little bit though. They take her to the hotel and when she's about to get out, they tell her to please wait and hold on. I think it's a little too late for that, fellas. Also, she got out the car and teleported 15 feet away. I don't care how fast you think you can walk. This is physically impossible. A red flag hates to see this movie coming. It's gonna be working overtime tonight. They chase her into the hotel and down to the basement, and this is what they see. Still kind of fine a little bit. What the fuck? This next part is actually one of my favorites. So we get some text on the screen about how 15 people died during the Hell House incident, but unfortunately 7 bodies were never found. 18-year-old Savannah Collins being one of those bodies. Oh, that's the girl they saw on the side of the road. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. And this next little tidbit is even creepier. Get this. It was rumored that she hitchhiked to Hell House's opening night. I love shit like that. The fact that they found her spirit still hitchhiking being used to lead people into the hotel, that's some high quality scary shit right there. The next thing we see is the newly formed mystery gang having some bonding time, because you gotta get that emotional attachment so your heart can be ripped out of your chest once everyone dies. You want to talk about it? No. David and Molly get up to dance, leaving Mitchell and Jessica by themselves. Mitchell questioning what exactly Jessica has to gain from this investigation. Jessica saying this is the most interesting case that has come across her desk in a long time. She then asks Mitchell what he really thinks happened to Sarah. Like he couldn't have been interviewing a dead girl the whole time, right? Did we not watch the same documentary? You have your evidence. It's all there. You can choose not to believe, but they're all gone. No one has come out saying they're alive or they've been faking it the entire time. Also, it's a little strange how Sarah was able to come off as a normal human being, but Savannah here has the vocal tones of the Shining twins. Might want to come off a little less creepy if you want to capture some souls. Maybe I should be in charge of this operation. Who the hell is running this thing? Also, Mitchell is not happy that Brock will be joining them on this investigation. And I'm with Mitchell. Why is he coming? You're not gonna make me seem like I'm batshit crazy for warning you about how dangerous the hotel is. He's literally telling her that he knows for a fact that is extremely dangerous and life-threatening. I don't have time for your non-believing ass and Brock's crystal ball head ass to be playing around. We're not going on a class field trip or going into a demonic hotel. Mitchell might be the only level-headed one in this movie. And Jessica's like, I have to see things to believe them. Jess, I hope you know by the time you see it, it will be far too late. They make their way to the hotel and you want to take a wild guess of what happens? Doors wide open? Good guess, but actually no. It is unlocked though, and that's still enough for me to turn the fuck around. Brock also shows up with his cameraman Malcolm. He does some psychic theatrics and they head inside. We then abruptly cut to Jessica in an interrogation room. You could probably guess by the way she looks that things went terribly wrong. According to the officer behind the camera, Jessica was found walking on the side of the road completely out of it and had been missing for 5 days. Part of me is conflicted with this. Hear me out. From the first Hell House, I like the idea of us knowing from the start that the entire Hell House crew was dead because it gave us a foundation. We just needed to see the steps they took to find themselves in such a predicament. And that was interesting to watch. But the difference between that and what we're seeing here is that we actually grew to like the dynamic of the Hell House crew. You can tell this was a genuine group of friends who just unfortunately unfortunately found themselves in a place of evil. Whereas we do get some nice moments with the Mystery Gang. You're sticking with Mystery Gang, huh? In a way, this feels like a rinse and repeat, and I'll get into why later. Jessica starts to scream hysterically to herself when we cut back to the past crew in the Abaddon. We get another editor's note saying the following footage is highly disturbing and completely unexplainable. Sounds like rainbows and sunshine are ahead. Brock and Malcolm head to the dining room and the rest of the crew are heading to the basement. He says some corny ass psychic mumbo jumbo and disappears into the darkness. I feel like I saw a crackhead do that one time, so he's not so special. They find Latin written on the wall. Esta aperta porta, meaning the door is open. Is it a door to an exit? Because that's the only door I give a fuck about right now. Sarah's blood stains are still on the ground? You can even see where she was dragged away. Poor Sarah. We cut back to Brock and Malcolm, and Brock is making a comment on how the haunted house looks. And cut them some slack, Brock. You try hosting a haunted house with the budget of 2 Snickers bars and a year-long bus pass. Also, they're dead, by the way. Then Malcolm makes a lame joke saying, well, I heard it was a killer haunt. Well, at least I'm not that lame, guys. I'm funny, right? Yeah, funny looking. All right, that's it. Wait a minute, what are you doing? Oh, God! They head into the dining room and there are still some haunted house mannequins set up, although one of them looks a little too real, but maybe I'm just overthinking things. Brock starts doing his little psychic shtick and 2 nooses appear on the ceiling, and Brock has the nerve to say, well, that's a little unsettling. A little unsettling? A chair being knocked over. Maybe glass breaking out of nowhere. That might be a little unsettling. You think these nooses are here for decoration? Because I have a crazy hunch that maybe, just maybe, whatever's here is planning on using them. The fact that they're still in this room is the unsettling part. He has a planchette engraved with his initials. Why do you own such a thing? Just in case you're out and about and need to do an impromptu seance? Hey babe, they're out of cucumbers.
Summon the demons.
Cut back to Mitchell and the gang and they make their way towards the basement. I don't know why they tried to make this creepy, but it's actually kind of hilarious. It's like a little demonic Amish man. Wait, is that offensive to the Amish? Sorry if I offended any Amish people watching this. Wait a minute. They successfully make it to the basement and just look at this. That is an entire bag of fuck no, with a side of get out my face. Jessica tells David he should go first because his light is the brightest, and I'm confused on what Jessica thought this was going to get it done. What are you illuminating, a colony of ants? David reluctantly goes first, and man, this place really has stayed untouched. These clown mannequins are still down here. They walk around occasionally glancing at creepy things left behind from the incident, and make their way to the door at the side of the basement. And holy shit, Patrick was right. There are tons of boxes scattered across the room, filled with countless documents, pictures, and tapes. We check back in with Brock and Malcolm, and Brock is attempting to connect with the spirits of the Abaddon. Look at that. You see this face? This is the face of mortality. We get a nice pan shot of the room and then Brock etches a Y and an N into the table for yes or no questions to ask the ghost. After a certain amount of questions, Malcolm doesn't know the soul pan of the room. Alright, seems fine, nothing out of the ordinary. Oh, I see it. He then asks the spirit if it has anything to do with the disappearances of anybody we've mentioned in the movie so far. And it goes over to yes. This is a sign that we should maybe leave. Malcolm starts freaking out and Brock consoles him trying to calm him down, but quite the opposite, he makes it worse. Because the next thing Brock asks is if the spirit wants to hurt them, and it stays on yes. That's bone chilling, man. If it wasn't obvious, we are no longer safe. Brock then sees a girl standing over in the corner. They both jump and begin to leave, but as they turn the corner, she's already right in front of them. It then glitches and freezes, and we also get an extra jump scare for some reason. A cheap one at that. What the fuck is this? Was this hand drawn? Why did we need an extra loud noise like the first one wasn't enough? A couple more disclaimers fade onto the screen, including that Brock and Malcolm remain missing to this day. Meanwhile, with the mystery hooligans, we see them setting up their cameras and they start looking through the supposed evidence. David starts ranting about nachos, and I'm with him when he's right. Jessica says a throwaway line like, we'll get you some when we leave. Oh, they're so hopeful. I remember when I was that dumb. David finally finds some tapes at the bottom of this box, and while they're getting excited, I couldn't have happened to notice something in the background. Can we see that again? Yeah, that's what I thought I saw. Jarvis? Blow my shit clean off. And then to make matters worse, Molly copies them on a walkie-talkie saying for some reason she's inside the hotel. According to Molly, David was the one who asked her to come inside, claiming they needed an extra hand, which implies that something on the walkie-talkie manipulated its voice to make it sound like David. This is the first and last time they do something like this, but it's honestly pretty cool and creepy as hell. Of course, at the time, Molly and the gang don't know this, so she's just yelling at David, asking him why he asked her to come in here. And David's like, I don't give a fuck about anything you're saying right now. I want nachos. No, he doesn't say that, but he is like, I didn't call you and I have no idea what you're talking about. She pretty much doesn't believe him and starts cussing him out. And Mitchell, once again being the smart one, tells Jessica to grab whatever she can and leave. And she's like, calm down, nothing's happened. But he tells her that Molly wasn't supposed to be in here. Don't you get it by now? What have I been saying this entire time? The main goal of the hotel is to collect more souls. The more the merrier. Molly was drawn in here for a reason. They head back up to David and Molly, and Mitchell's ready to book it, but Jessica's like, what about Brock? What about Brock? I say we look out for ourselves. Even David was like, I totally forgot he was in here. They decide to head that way to let them know they're leaving. Molly is petrified right now, and I honestly feel so bad for her. The door they need to go through is locked, so they take an alternate route. Jessica peeks in and immediately backs out in shock. Everyone's like, what is it? And I hate when stuff like this happens. Someone reacts to something, and instead of telling you what it is, they start contemplating their entire life. So now you have to see what it is. But yeah, it's Brock and Malcolm, and they're like super dead. But if you're a glass half full kind of person, it's just two buddies hanging out. Comments lied to you about being funny. Ignoring that comment, shit. Also, what is it with people being hanged in my videos? The Conjuring, the gallows, now this? We also see Brock's planchette still on the table and yes is written all over it. They run forward towards the exit and find our little clown friend standing there. Buddy, I've missed you. How are the kids? Dead? Oh, that sounds about right. Mitchell tries to calm everyone down, saying it's just a mannequin, guys, let's go. But then its arm and head proceed to move on their own. And I don't know what type of mannequin technology they had back in 2017, but they're not supposed to do that. And I'm gonna ask this next question as calmly as possible, although I don't think I can. Why do none of you have weapons? A 12 gauge would have busted right through this motherfucker. Every time he moves, bow, another shot. But y'all came in this bitch with cameras, flashlights, and batteries. Great for if we're trying to document a day at Disney World, not great for battling murderous spirits. The door also slams, so they head into the opposite direction. Now while running, they pass a chalkboard with all their names written on it, and what room they're expected to stay in, implying they are now guests in this hotel. Now 3 things. Number 1, I thought this said David's mom at first, and I got so confused. I'm like, what the hell did David's mom do? Number 2, the date says October 8th, 2009, same day the Hell House incident took place. And number 3, last but certainly not least, there's an extra name on this list. Russell Wynn, the exact same name of the guy who compiled all this footage together. Also someone who will be very important in the future. I wonder if this is some sort of Pennywise moment where the hotel can see time all as one, the past, the present, the future. Although everyone's more concerned about their own names being on the list rather than some random one they don't know. And yeah, I mean this one. Poor Molly. She is so scared right now and I don't blame her. David tries to get the front door open but to no avail. What do I keep telling you guys about supernatural strength? The only way you're getting through here is with a bazooka or some shit. And you would have one if you brought weapons, but that's a bit of a stretch. I don't know where you can legally buy a bazooka. Although if y'all know somebody, let me know down in the comments. What was that? Nothing? They hear footsteps slowly walking towards their way, so they turn around and run upstairs and Jessica wants to stay here all terrified and shit. Nah. What were you saying earlier about seeing things to believe it? Go around the corner and see whatever's walking this way, skeptic. I just love how they all turn around and look at David like this. Look at their faces. POV, you're at the airport at 3 in the morning and you're about to fly to a different country, but your friend says they forgot their passport. Somebody at the party says they'll slap everyone in here. Hey guys, want to grab some Long John Silvers? Sorry to all the Long John Silver lovers out there. David's like, we can't go up there. Mitchell's like, why not? He's like, because I watched your documentary. Thank you. Gosh, I feel like I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone when it comes to common sense in these movies. However, to counter that, you watched the documentary and still ended up in this hotel. They walk past a bunch of the old Hell House props and one of them blinks at the gang. Oh, that one's real. Yeah, should probably run right about now. It starts to follow them, but it does the slasher killer slow walk towards them for some reason. Oh, now y'all don't want to teleport? Also, I don't know if this is the same ghost from before. It is wearing a similar looking nightgown though, but her face does look slightly different. Also, damn Tully, you piece of shit. Did you kill most of these girls in their sleep? Why is everyone wearing a nightgown? Also, once again, all of them look like Linda Blair knockoffs. They barricade in the room and try to collect themselves. Jessica then tries yelling at Mitchell saying he knew something was wrong once they heard Molly on the radio. Jessica, what are you talking about? Mitchell knew this shit was a bad idea way before you got inside. He told you. He told all of you. And your dumb ass just really needed that story and look where we are now. Whatever was following them starts banging on the door and then we cut back to the interview with Susie. They begin to talk about Alex. Susie revealing that he didn't have permission to use the hotel for Hell House. Oh, it's getting juicy now. Oh, look at Brock all naive and alive. Susie then asks Brock what he thinks of all of Alex's bad decisions. And honestly, I really like the conversation they're having about this. Brock saying that Alex made too many gambles, got in way over his head, and it ultimately led him to his demise. We also get a look at Alex's journal, and it just brings up more questions. I always wonder where exactly Alex was during a lot of the shenanigans that happened in the first Hell House film, and if he experienced anything on his own. But from the looks of this, his psyche was being altered as well. Maybe not to the same extent as Paul, but I feel it would have eventually gotten there. Mitchell's theory is that this whole thing was orchestrated from the start. The hotel was playing chess. It knew what moves to make to get to a checkmate. Also, they want to show us a back-to-back comparison of Mitchell and the gang and then the Hell House crew like they're the same. Don't disrespect me like that. But Mitchell says that whatever happened in October of 2009 was already set into motion way before the incident took place. And we'll come to learn that very soon. We cut back to the mystery gang and once again Jessica's yelling at Mitchell on why he didn't put a stop to this if he knew it was a trap. But Mitchell says he didn't think it was one until he heard Molly on the radio. I'm still confused on why she thinks this is Mitchell's fault. We shouldn't be here to begin with. You're the one who used my curiosity on Diane's demise to rope me into this. Jessica then tries to get help on the walkie-talkie by changing the radio channels. And someone actually responds. Jessica asks for help and the person on the other end responds with, "Yes ma'am, you've checked in for October 8th. We then hear a bunch of demon noises and Jessica throws the walkie-talkie across the room. Also, I love how all of this is happening and David's just over here zoned out with his headphones in. This new J. Cole is fire. But he's actually combing through the tapes they found and he's being a little too casual for me. Like his tone is still slightly whimsical and sarcastic and he's making little jokes, even considering the situation they're in. And I sound like a hypocrite looking my entire fucking channel, but even then he doesn't sound nearly as freaked out as everyone else. But he's made an insane discovery. A tape that shows Alex meeting with someone in the Abaddon hotel 6 months before the Hell House incident. Which is weird because he always gave off he had never been there before. before, especially when the crew first got there. They watch the tape and we see that Alex is having financial problems. He had made some really bad investments, which relates to the real life market crash of 2008. The person off camera says he could use the hotel to give it a second life, put Hell House and the Abaddon back on the map at the same time. He then holds his hand out for a handshake and agreement, and I always felt this scene was more symbolic. The way Alex hesitantly looks in his direction, it's like he's contemplating making a deal with the devil, meaning that Mitchell's theory was correct. That Hell House incident was already set in motion way before that day came, and now we can imply what Mac told Tony off camera back in the first one when he was about to storm off and leave. The turns have tabled. Molly's over in the corner hyperventilating, and Jessica promises that she'll get her out of here. And I learned at a young age that you shouldn't make promises you can't keep. Then we cut to the interrogation room again, and I totally forgot about this subplot. She's speaking in codes, and the officer is trying his best to decipher what she's talking about, while also wondering what new strain of drug this is. However, she brings up something about the lake of fire. Where have I heard that before? Yeah, I'm sure it'll come back to me. They try to brainstorm an idea of how to escape, and it's a little too unserious. Like, David is smiling this entire scene, and Molly is talking about taking a vacation so she can binge watch So You Think You Can Dance. Motherfucker, so you think you can live? I'm so confused. I don't think either one of you are understanding the magnitude of this situation. In fact, the only appropriate reactions here are Jessica and Mitchell's. There's a moment of silence, and then the camera light goes out. We hear Molly screaming, but it sounds like it's a little muffled. Wonder what that's about. The light comes back on, and Molly is missing, while the spirit is in the background like this, which is an unsettling shot, but also is a sort of mocking. Like, oh, you thought you were safe?
Gotcha, bitch.
David starts freaking out. Oh, now you want to have a reaction. They all take a breath, but David notices a note on the door. It says that Molly is in the basement with her friends. David starts to launch forward again, but Mitchell stops him saying, don't be stupid, and he promises he'll get her back. Tisk, tisk, tisk. What did I tell you guys earlier about making promises you can't keep? They slowly make their way downstairs through the hotel and down to the basement. They find Molly laying down, passed out, and the creepy clown mannequin is holding a knife to her neck. Well, that doesn't seem very friendly. Is that a portal to hell? They get Molly free and make her run for it, but unfortunately for poor David, he gets restrained by the hooded figures. Well, David's dead. Molly and Jessica try their best to get out, but our clown friend is extremely persistent. The lights are flashing on and off, and he's getting closer and closer, up until he's right in front of their faces and the camera cuts. Not sure if they're dead or not, but that just leaves Mitchell. But before we could witness the fate of the mystery game, we cut back to Susie's interview. This is when Jessica called up to the show, saying that she intends to bust the case wide open, and that if Mitchell wants to know what happened to Diane, he should find her. Arnold is of course antagonizing Jessica about this, but she is fully confident about getting to the bottom of the Abaddon Hotel. If only she knew. Camera cuts on and Mitchell is all alone. He slowly but cautiously walks around, hoping to find anyone still alive or an exit maybe, and he stumbles upon Melissa? Was not expecting to see her face. That's a deep cut. Literally. She's on the phone with her mother saying how she's nervous for opening night and that she feels like Alex is keeping something from them. Her mom then asks her when she's coming home, and she responds with, I'm dead already, they took us to hell, and Mitchell's coming with us. And I like this a lot, actually. The fact that the spirits can imitate and reenact as if they're still alive, only for them to look like this. Also, this is the lamest and goofiest jump scare in the whole movie. No offense to the actress, but her body movement during this is giving they're paying me $15 an hour to scare tour-goers. On second thought, she might have been in the right profession. However, Mitchell does not make it away successfully, and he wakes up in the dining room. While he's getting his footing, we hear audio of him talking in his interview with Susie. Him saying that he did nothing to alter the footage for the documentary, and that none of this is a joking matter. The hotel is dangerous. Susie then asks him if he plans on staying away from the hotel himself. We get silence and it cuts back to the dining room. Is that Alex and Mac? Holy shit, maybe I was wrong about the whole legacy character thing. Look at them in their prime, and we don't have to worry about anything happening to them because they're already dead. It's a win-win situation. Also, Molly and Jessica are tied up in the background with bags over their head. Glad to see they made it out safe. We cut back to the interview once again, and Mitchell answers with a yes, saying no matter how much he wants to find out the truth about what happened to Diane, he can't bring himself to go to that hotel. Man, this is sad, but he says he has no plans on entering the hotel, that everyone should stay away from it. Arnold even complimenting and thanking him for setting a good example for everyone else. Oh, I'm glad we had this moment. Susie then gives us an outro as the interview is coming to an end. Arnold gets the fuck out of Dodge, and Brock stops Mitchell asking if he really plans on staying away from the hotel, because he believes he's lying about that, and if he plans on getting to the bottom of things, he should count him in on it. Oh, Brock, if you knew where you were now, you wouldn't be saying that. One of the production members walks up to Susie and says that Arnold called and says he's sorry he missed the interview due to a car accident. But if that was Arnold on the phone, and you on the bus, then who was flickering the lights?
Nosferatu!
No, but seriously, who the fuck was she just interviewing? We cut back to Mitchell and he's attempting to get Molly and Jessica free. But while he's doing so, he hears a voice behind him. A familiar voice. Okay, I know I usually do this at the end of the video, but we're hitting this a little early. Absolutely the fuck not. You mean to tell me that he went on live television, did an entire interview, promoted not going to the hotel, only for him to be the motherfucker who's been trying to get people to get in there in the first place? What sense does this make? He also was the one that Alex met with back in 09. It was the one who told Alex he should use the hotel for Hell House. Why did you go through all of this trouble? I get it, domino effect, but man, this plan was elaborate as fuck. And even after all of that, I actually really kind of like Andrew Tully.
You what?
Listen, he's a terrible human being. I mean, he's killed countless people while alive alive and dead. But man, is he charismatic. Brian David is the actor who plays him, and man, does he have the perfect voice for this. It fits so well with these grandiose monologues. He discusses his plans and how they fell into place, with Alex being the most important piece of the domino effect. He ultimately is the entire reason why all of this happened. His desperation to keep Hell House afloat due to his poor decisions led him to this point, and therefore the countless murders and disappearances that have occurred since the opening of Hell House. Tully's only goal has been to bring more guests to the hotel, more souls for him to collect. Mitchell lets the camera fall, but Tully yells at him to keep it rolling. He's very keen on everything being filmed. Freaky ass. Also, am I the only one who think he kind of sounds like G-Man from Half-Life? Please tell me someone watching this has played Half-Life before, or I'm gonna feel ancient. Tully claims that his death all those years ago was a grand relaunch for the hotel and that it's never been closed. They've essentially been there the whole time. Just like Jackson said earlier in the movie, they're all here. They're all still here. Tully claims that he has found the gateway to hell, and he's very excited about this. See kids, that just shows you that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. Call today at 555 hell nah. Tully then gestures to someone behind him to play a song, and we hear that familiar Hell House tune, but the more interesting part is who's playing it. The person turns around and it's Diane. Jesus Christ, what the fuck did they do to her? Most of the ghosts we've seen have had a piece of their face missing or cuts and bruises over their face and body. She got a whole eye missing. Also still never got the chance to see what Jonathan looked like. He just wasn't important enough, I guess. Hashtag justice for Jonathan. Actually, you don't have to hashtag that. I don't think anyone cares. Justice for Paul, though. Mitchell falls down in despair, and one of the hooded figures picks up the camera as Tully gives Mitchell an ultimatum. One of them can leave, but he has to choose who. Unfortunately, Mitchell isn't able to do so. So to make it easier for him, Tully has one of the goons go over to the girls, and unfortunately, Molly is chosen for death. Oh, fuck you. Don't show a sentimental moment as Molly is getting stabbed in the gut. Tully then remarks that he knows who the next guest in the hotel will be, and that he's been sending them all of the tapes of everything that has happened so far. Who, you may ask? Maybe it has something to do with that fifth mysterious name on the chalkboard. Yeah, I'm sure it'll come back to me. Mitchell then gets up, having made his decision. A red light illuminates as we see Diane playing the piano. You can hear Jessica screaming in the background as we hear her get stabbed, which means, oh, Jessica was dead the whole time. That doesn't hit the same as it did last time. Also, what is this goofy ass smile on her face? First Melissa, now her? Who did you guys look to for facial expressions? Jim Carrey? Also, how did Russell get this tape? This is police property. The guy must be a billionaire or something. What are you laughing at?
Oh, nothing. You'll see.
Okay, weirdo. We ended with Jessica saying that she was in the Abaddon Hotel, telling the officer that he should go there. And then the movie cuts to black. And that, my friends, is Hell House LLC 2. Just one question though. What the fuck happened to Mitchell? We see him walk away and they kill Jessica. Did he go into the portal to hell? Why would he do that? I thought the whole point was to leave the hotel. And I'm guessing he more so complied to becoming another soul to bring more people to the hotel. But this was never outwardly said. It was more so implied. And we never see him again. You know what? This movie was already dark as fuck. Let me just make up a headcanon that Mitchell did escape and move somewhere real nice. Not Fresno though. I saw the comments. I heard it was trash. All in all, my friends, I'm conflicted with this one. While there are some aspects of the movie that I enjoy, like the way the spirits work, and a few of the scares were good as well, I just didn't feel the same attachment to the mystery gang as I did the Hell House crew. And maybe that's more biased than anything. I do think that the gang had decent chemistry. Also, the whole plot point that she was dead the whole time while being interrogated just didn't land as hard as they wanted it to for me. Like, it had much more of an effect than the last film because Sarah was the quote-unquote sole survivor of the Hell House crew, just for her to be dead the entire time. It held a sort of weight to it. And the sequencing of the movie as well was sort of all over the place. If you're not paying attention the entire time, you're gonna be confused on what's going on. I wouldn't say it's a bad watch by any means, but it for sure is not my favorite in the series anymore. And definitely not as strong as the first one. Wait, what was that? There's an extra scene. Yeah, we get one more scene of Alex and Mac meeting in some sort of diner. Mac is recording, so he has video evidence explicitly saying that he had nothing to do with Alex's shenanigans. Alex informs Mac that he has nothing to worry about and that he has a way out for them. Mac is of course skeptical, and Alex explains to him his discovery of the Abaddon Hotel and how Hell House would get its second life there. Alex makes Mac promise that he won't mention anything to everyone else, and Mac says to him, I feel like you got us into something we'll never get out of. I love little throwaway lines like this. Foreshadowing, eat your heart out. Alex pleads Mac to back him up while he explains the plan to everyone else, and Mac reluctantly agrees. Then the rest of the crew come in to greet them. I was hoping we see some little cameos from Sarah, Paul, and Tony, but the scene cuts and that's the end of the movie. Have you seen Hell House LLC 2? And if so, leave a comment down below telling me what you think of it. If you haven't seen it, give it a watch. I'd say it's entertaining enough. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and also hype it up. It helps out the channel. Once again, thank you for all the support. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I appreciate you all. My name is Greaves, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!